Hello guys, Grape is you, and today I want to tell you how to start making your own games. I want to divide this video into 5 parts. Part 1, Game Constructors. Part 2, Game Engines. Part 3, Programming. Part 4, The Dimension. And Part 5, The Conclusion. Part 1, Game Constructors. Game constructors are the best way of making games for newbies, because you're working with a ready-made code and scripts. The most appropriate example of such working environment is well-known Scratch. In this program you just drag and connect different ready-made scripts and your character does some action. The other game constructors are working the same, and have only small differences. You can ask me a question, why do we need to use something else instead of constructors? The constructors are suitable only for small projects, because if you have a large project and you are making it in a constructor, you won't understand the structure of your project at all. And because of this, you will have a lot of bugs in future development. The most popular and with ample opportunities constructors are Game Maker Studio, Construct 3, and Buildbox. I will not tell you about their differences, features, ease of use, because the video is not about this. You can easily find this information in the internet, or if you want such video on my channel, where I will tell you all about these constructors. Tell me about this in comments. Part 2. Game Engines. Game engines open you a wide world of game development. Just imagine, you can create your own world, characters, correct their behavior, sounds, voices, animations, and many other things yourself. You can easily make your wildest dreams come true. The most popular engines nowadays are Unity, Unreal Engine, CryEngine, Godot, and Amazon Lumberyard. But the two of them that 90% of game developers use are Unity and Unreal Engine. So, what to choose? If you are a newbie and you have never heard about game engines and programming, you should choose Unity, because it's easier to learn than Unreal Engine. Unreal Engine in its turn is sharpened in making 3D games that will be very hard for beginners. We will talk about the dimensions in the other part. Besides, Unity uses C# as a programming language for making games, and Unreal Engine uses C++ that is harder and slower than C#. Unity also has more assets in its asset store. And if we are talking about graphics, Unreal Engine has no equal enemies in it. Just look at this.
This has to be the right way.
Before we continue, let's stop a moment and take a look at some of the key features of this demo. Much of what you see was built with Quixel Megascan assets, but instead of using the game versions, we used the cinematic versions, which would typically only be used in film. There are around 1 million triangles each, and thanks to virtual texturing, they all use 8K textures as well. Nanite can render an insane number of triangles very quickly. There are over 1 billion triangles of source geometry in each frame.
Part 3. Programming. In this part, much of you have lost their desire to make games, because when we hear word programming, we associate this with tons of not readable code that consists of different symbols and colors. Frankly speaking, it was very hard for me to understand programming, but as much you are doing, as easier it becomes. If you don't know anything about programming and you want to use it only for making games, you should find tutorials on YouTube about C# for beginners. When I was beginning, I watched a video from channel Programming with Bosch, and then I began creating my own game, and I was finding on Stack Overflow, or Unity forums, or Unity manual, something that I didn't understand. When the time has passed, I was making everything easily and solving different tasks faster and brighter. So practice, practice, and practice can make you a great programmer and game developer. Because if you know theory but don't know how to do it, you're useless. So don't be afraid of words programming, scripting, coding, and others, because everyone was the beginners, and even those who has made your favorite games. Part 4. The Dimension. If you are in love with 3D games but you are a beginner at the same time, it will be very hard for you to work in 3 dimensions. Someone didn't know but even 4D games exist, but now not about this. This is 2D, and it has only 2 axes, X and Y. You don't need to use rotation in many cases and work with the object's volume. The physics in 2D is much easier than in 3D, not to mention animations. And this is 3D. It has 3 axes, X, Y, and Z. You need to include rotation in your scripts, you need to work with volume of objects and create such animations that will take you many hours. Ask yourself, do I really need this at the beginning, and could I done it without a team? I think that many people will answer no. That's why don't make your life harder. Start with 2D, and only when you have certain experience, you can begin to work with 3-dimensional objects. Part 5. The Conclusion. So, let's draw conclusions. You can use constructors to make your little projects without any skills in programming. Game engines are the most suitable option in game development. Programming is not so fearful as you imagined, and only thanks to practice you can achieve your goals. It's better to work with 2D objects at the beginning, even if it's not what you want to do. Guys, I'm very appreciated if you watched this video to this moment. Thank you very much for watching, and subscribe not to miss my next video, where we will start our acquaintance with game engine. See you soon.